3 stories for Lolo. Magical Bill. "What card am I holding up?" asked Magical Bill. The little girl, Lolo, closed her eyes. The Queen of Hearts," she said. Magical Bill put down the card. It was the Queen of Hearts. "But how did you know?" he asked. "You told me to see it with the pack of cards inside my head," said Lolo. "I know," said Magical Bill, "but it's just a trick. You're not really supposed to do it." He told Lolo there was a pack of cards inside her head. When she closed her eyes, she could see them. He tried again. "What card am I holding up?" asked Magical Bill. The little girl, Lolo, closed her eyes. The 6 of diamonds," she said. Magical Bill put down the card. It was the 6 of diamonds. Magical Bill was amazed. "But that is magic," he said. "Real magic." Poor Magical Bill. He didn't know that Lolo had magical powers. She found a pack of cards inside the cupboard inside her head, and they were magical cards. "All right," he said. "This time you can shuffle the cards." He let Lolo shuffle the cards. Then he selected one. "What card am I holding up?" The little girl, Lolo, closed her eyes. "This is too easy," she said. "The Ace of Clubs." Sure enough, it was the Ace of Clubs. "By my hairy whiskers," said Magical Bill. He was a magician. He knew real magic when he saw it. And because he was a magician, he had long flowing whiskers. How did she do it? Whatever card he held up, Lolo could see it with the cards inside her head. It was a mystery. And when magicians run into a mystery, they sit and get lost in their long whiskers. This is what Magical Bill did. He was thinking. He got lost in his whiskers for a while. Finally, he looked up. "Where did you find the cards inside your head?" he wondered. "They were in the cupboard inside my head," Lolo explained. Which cupboard? Magical Bill wanted to know. Inside the head of every little girl, there is a cupboard full of magical things. But it's supposed to be locked. Now Magical Bill saw the problem. No, said Magical Bill. "You've got the wrong cards." When he told her to use the cards inside her head, she wasn't supposed to go to the cupboard full of magical things. She was supposed to use the ones on the table inside her head, next to the window inside her head, the non-magical ones. What a mix-up. He also wondered where she got the key to the cupboard. She said it was on the kitchen bench inside her head. "Well," said Magical Bill, stroking his whiskers after getting lost in them, "it's cheating." "No, it's not," said Lolo. "Yes, it is. You're not supposed to use magical cards." He was the magician, not her. If she used the magical cards inside her head, none of his magic tricks would work. That would be no fun. "It is clearly against the rules," said Magical Bill. So he made her put them back in the cupboard inside her head and made her put the key back on the kitchen bench. "It's not fair," said Lolo. She liked having magical powers. But she didn't want Magical Bill to get lost in his whiskers again. He was the best magician in the whole world. She didn't want to ruin all his tricks. He shuffled the cards again. This time he held up another card. "What card am I holding?" he asked. The little girl, Lolo, closed her eyes. The 9 of spades," she said. Magical Bill put down the card. Wrong. It was the 4 of hearts. Magical Bill was happy. "Now watch this," he announced. He was going to show her his own magic. "Nothing up my sleeve. Hey presto," he said, and he pulled the 9 of spades from the pack. He looked at her, waiting for applause. Lolo just looked at him and said, "That was good." But she was thinking, but it wasn't real magic. That's the trouble with doing magic tricks for little girls. They have a cupboard full of magical things inside their head. It is supposed to be locked, but sometimes someone will leave the key on the kitchen bench. Brat the Cat. There was once a cat named Brat, but he didn't call himself that. He called himself Mr. Gorgeous. He had a mirror. It was in the bathroom. Every day he would look in the mirror and say to himself, "Mr. Gorgeous." Then he would go to Lolo, the little girl who loved him, and say, "I'm feeling gorgeous today. You can call me Mr. Gorgeous." But Lolo didn't speak cat talk. All she could hear was meow, meow. She thought he was asking for food. "You're such a brat," she said. "You've already been fed." If he ate too much, Brat the cat grew fat, and no one wanted that. Mr. Gorgeous looked at her. "What are you talking about?" he said. "Who said anything about food?" But all Lolo could hear was meow, meow. Lolo still said no, not even a snack. So Mr. Gorgeous licked himself. He decided to make himself even more gorgeous, so he licked himself all over. Then he looked up at Lolo and said, "Meow, meow." In cat talk this meant, "Am I gorgeous or what?" But instead, Lolo ignored him. She was playing with her toys. "Okay," said Mr. Gorgeous, "I am going to sit on a keyboard." This is what he did when he was feeling gorgeous, but Lolo was ignoring him. He went to the other end of the house, into another room, and found a keyboard. Then he sat on it. He loved sitting on keyboards. He was a brat of a cat. But this particular keyboard was being used just then by Melinda, the lady who loved Lolo, who loved Brat the Cat. "Hey," she said, "get off the keyboard, you brat." Brat the Cat looked at her and meowed, saying, "Call me Mr. Gorgeous." Unlike Lolo, Melinda could speak fluent cat. "You're not gorgeous, you're a brat," she told him. "I was typing a letter to my auntie." "Lolo was ignoring me again," said the cat. "Doesn't she know how gorgeous I am?" Melinda went and spoke to Lolo. Lolo said that Brat had asked for food. "No, he wants to be called Mr. Gorgeous," Melinda explained. "He's Brat the Cat, and that is that," said Lolo. She named him Brat because he was a brat of a cat. "But he is gorgeous," said Melinda. Just then, Brat came back and sat on the mat for a pat. He opened his big, gorgeous eyes and smiled, a cat smile. Both Lolo and Melinda smiled too, but they smiled people smiles. Lolo bent down and stroked him. She was the little girl who loved him. "He is so gorgeous," Lolo agreed. "Shall we call him Mr. Gorgeous?" asked Melinda. "No," said Lolo. "He's a brat." At that, Brat the Cat said meow meow again. In cat talk this meant, "Fine, I'm going back to sit on the keyboard." And he walked off into the other room. "Maybe he is gorgeous and a brat," said Melinda. Lolo agreed with that. So too did the cat. He jumped up on the desk. "I am one gorgeous lump of cat fluff," he said to himself. "But they call me Brat." Then he sat down on the keyboard again. He was a brat of a cat. the Rowdy Prankster. "Come on, Lolo," said Lolo's granddad. "Let's go for a walk in the park." It was a morning of royal sunshine. Lolo's granddad was the slowest man in the whole world, but a walk in the park would be lovely. Lolo went to her room and found her crown. She was the queen of the park. When she went to the park, she wore a crown on her head. It was golden. It sparkled in the royal sunshine. She would go up to all the flowers and say, "I am your queen," and all the flowers would bow down and say, "Long live the queen." She would go up to all the birdlings and say, "I am your queen," and all the birdlings would fly around in circles and get dizzy and say, "Long live the queen." But her granddad didn't like to loiter. He wanted to walk slowly through the park to the coffee truck and buy a cappuccino. When he said, "Let's go to the park," what he really meant was, "Let's buy a cappuccino." "I will buy you a baby chino, Your Majesty," he promised. It would have chocolate. "All right," said Queen Lolo, "but first I must say good morning to all my loyal servants." She would go up to all the bees and buzzing things and say, "I am your queen," and all the bees and buzzing things would buzz around and say, "Long live the queen." But on this day, as they walked through the park, there was a rowdy prankster. He had an ugly haircut and he was kicking a rowdy football. There was a big sign in the park that said, "No rowdy pranksters," but he was there anyway. He was not a loyal servant of Queen Lolo. His rowdy prank was to kick the football right into her path. The ball went flying into the air. It was very rowdy. It was going to fall on her head and knock off her golden crown. "Watch out, Your Majesty," called her granddad. He was the slowest man in the whole world. When they had races, Lolo always won, and she wasn't even trying. He was especially slow before he had his morning cappuccino. But suddenly, her granddad jumped up in the air, did 100 somersaults and several backflips, and caught the ball, saving the queen and her golden crown. Long live the queen indeed. He moved faster than a little lizard moves when you poke it with a stick. He was surely the bravest knight in the whole kingdom. The rowdy prankster said rowdy things. "Close your ears, Your Majesty," said her granddad. Queen Lolo closed her ears, and her granddad said rowdy things back to the prankster and told him he had an ugly haircut, and then kicked the ball all the way to the other end of the park. He was very brave and very fast. Lolo realised she had underestimated his valour. "From now on," she said, "I will call you Sir Grandad." He had proved himself worthy. They went over to her castle in the playground. She picked up a curly twig and climbed to the very top. She straightened her golden crown and tapped her granddad on the head with the curly twig. "Arise, Sir Grandad," she said, and all the kingdom, the bowing flowers and the dizzy birdlings and the bees and buzzing things, all said, "Long live the Queen." Sir Grandad was humble and bowed his head like a daffodil. He had said many rowdy things to the prankster, and when he kicked the ball, it went 1,000,000 miles. He was the hero of the morning. "Can we get a cappuccino now?" he asked. "And a baby chino?" she asked. There would be chocolate. "And a marshmallow," he said. "Yes, the royal marshmallow." "Very well," she said. "Let us depart before the rowdy prankster returns." All her loyal servants watched as her crown sparkled golden. "Good idea," said Sir Grandad. Saving the Queen from the rowdy prankster had made him thirsty. He was the slowest man in the whole world, especially in the morning before he had a cappuccino. So they walked off to the coffee truck in the royal splendour of the sunshine.